Alright, and another in the series of Aria Challenge Mode World Records. In this case, we've got the Mystery Mode World Record 1159. So if you're unfamiliar with Mystery Mode... Nope. There we go. If you're unfamiliar with Mystery Mode, well, there you go. Everything's a question mark. Items and monsters. So with monsters, the only way to tell what it is based off of movement pattern. With items, if it modifies your appearance, you can tell what it is. Otherwise, you just have to wait to use it or see what it does. Or go off prices. So I see 15,200. I assume that's a battle shovel, which is nice because that gives me some infinite damage. So I'm gonna probably try to spawn the leprechaun here so I can pay for it. Little question mark leprechaun. And then I realize it's a ring. And the only ring that costs 200 is the Ring of Peace. So I am now very happy. Now, Ring of Peace, of course, will turn everything into his weakest type, mini-bosses into their weakest type, and remove enemies from the rooms. It's, I think, one enemy per room in total, but not necessarily evenly distributed across rooms, so the effect is somewhat inconsistent in that sense. Mini-bosses have the same size sprite as anything else, so that's a Minotaur. That sort of combined with the fact that it will charge the door makes it very frustrating to deal with. With these challenge modes, the records are all, obviously a little bit less optimized because they're quite hard to finish, so I'm going to take some time to shop. I'm not just going to plow straight for the exit. I especially want protection items because this is such a dicey mode. So here I get a shovel and some sort of new torch. I don't really know what the difference is, so I guess I just decided to stick with the original. I see the treasure chest, so I'm going to go for it. And I can tell from the movement, sort of what the various monsters are. We've got some of our little shielded orcs and skeletons. Nothing too bad so far. One of the biggest concerns right now is that I'm just going to panic drop the beat, especially on a song like this. So I get a headpiece that I can't see, so I'm not quite sure what's going on, but but I don't have the question marks anymore, so we can tell that it's actually the sunglasses. That and the fact that I'm doing 2 damage. Slightly miscalculate where that guy's gonna go. Get hits. Not happy to lose my protection so early in the run. Also sort of a little bit hard to see where the dragon was versus the monsters around it, which is quite frustrating. But luckily, at least because I have the Ring of Peace, I know it's only going to be a 4 damage dragon, or 4 health dragon, and not going to have any breath to it. Coral Ring, super happy to get that zone 1. It means I'm not going to fight him when he has enough health to pose more of a threat later on. Also, I've got the bombs to deal with it. So I've got the Ring of Peace, so I'm just looking for protection. I'm not going to go purple chest. Unfortunately, I get the gi, so I'm doing damage, which is great, but still no protection. So the harpies have these really obnoxious sprites where the shadow is aligned with the zone, with the tile, which is just very disconcerting for figuring out exactly where they are. The other thing here is that it's a little bit hard to know exactly what monsters you're going to fight here because some of them have the same movement patterns until you attack them. Also, we're dealing with monsters that can confuse and monsters that teleport when you kill them. So not things that you sort of want to blindly go swatting at if you have the potential to run into something else. Of course, I cast the shield spell there originally because I didn't know what spell I had, so it was just a means of figuring out what I had. Here I'm, double switching for heavy plate, losing a little bit of damage, but I've got Ring of Peace, so I don't need a ton of damage, and the protection is just so much more important in this mode. Statues also, oh, that's a goblin, not a statue, which is what I thought it was. Statues, of course, you really don't know if it's the kind that's going to blow up in your face, so you just need to be very cautious about how you approach them. Like, I'm sort of figuring out what I'm going to do there. Like, just going to give it a wide berth. But I really should have done what I do here, which is that, and that's exactly what I was worried about. Of course, I've got some sort of scroll, and I'm just going to have to waste one to find out what it is, because it's better than, you know, hoping it's like a shield scroll and popping it to find out it's a fireball. So, it all means you're only getting one tome out of it instead of two, but that's fine. Also, a little bit surprised I didn't try to use the transmogrifier earlier to get the Shovel of Courage. Probably just in this mode a little bit nervous, or maybe I didn't have enough health. I didn't check, to be honest. Yeah, sort of not quite sure what all's going on there. And then I'm like, oh, I can open the crate, but of course I don't have 3 health, so I can't. At this point, maybe should have checked the shop. But I've got the Ring of Peace, so I guess, you know, the main thought was just to really get out of there. And of course, shops are going to have nebulous items, so they're a little bit less useful in this mode. Frustrated there. I was really hoping for the boots since I'd already plowed through the item pool for armor, but you go through the item pool more than once, and so I end up with the gi there again. Because I was just hoping to get sort of 3 damage. Make life a little bit easier. Especially because I did not have any boots, so it's not like I was going to be losing the protection from them. Briefly look at Darkness, because it's just always so appealing, and then remember that I already have the Ring of Peace, so that's not going to do me any good. And been a while since I've had to map Z3 on my own, and so you can see me struggling a bit with that here. Thankfully, we at least get a somewhat better torch. Still sort of have no idea where I'm going, and then realize, oh yeah, all the way up here. Of course, it looks like I just actually, from the map, we can tell that I picked up the Torch of Walls, which is why you have those sort of outline-filled rooms. Yeah, I will say nightmares in mystery mode are quite frustrating because the sprites are so dark. They're not this normal sort of like you can kind of tell what's going on version. Of course, I got to worry about sliding, so I'm not super thrilled about the ice here. I'm just like, nope. Just gonna keep moving until I figure out what's going on. I thought that was my Banshee. It was not. It was a 3 damage skeleton, which is one of the reasons you want a 3 damage, that you don't get shield blocked like it just did. So I know I have a Banshee somewhere because I heard it. There it is. Of course, going into Zone 2 is when it would be super convenient to have a Shovel of Courage. So far, I do not. Again, that pause is me waiting at the title card when the time doesn't run out on Conga, so that I can start with a full 7 beats. I do like the sort of just crypt wall dangling there. Of course, sort of don't know where Conga is. I'm just waiting to figure out where the diagonal sprite is. Just a little nerve-wracking. Thankfully, Conga can't get confused, or that would have been quite sad. And Conga's such a long song, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm like, that's a ring, don't want it. Again, you know, mapping without actually knowing the exit, I make the wrong choice. It's pretty obvious it was going to be down, but of course at this point I also know that I'm going quite fast, so we're starting to get to a little bit of the nervousness. The nerves are real. Peace doing its work, giving us a 3 damage night there, or 3 health nightmare. Mostly just glad to still have a little bit of protection. Of course, these mushrooms are a little daunting. A little bit lucky with the pusher that it didn't take damage. Super happy to see our potion. Of course, I trade out that piece of protection. Plenty of bombs, so I figure I'm just going to keep going through. Should have moved down there, not all the way over here. And I'm just like, mushrooms. They move so much. And I don't have sort of the damage necessary to deal with them. If I had 3 damage there, it would have been a lot nicer for them, but so it goes. My favorite mini-boss, or boss, as it were. Especially because, honestly, like, I've seen him zone 2 so infrequently, like, I don't even know off the top of my head what these are. So I'm just like, yep, it's just time. So. My hope was to find another piece of armor again, since we clearly can. Thankfully, really nice Zone 1 mapping there. Or 1-1 mapping, anyway. And I clearly made the right guess as to which was the dragon. Got a potion. So I'm hoping for a trapdoor. Again, don't want to swap out rings, but so far no dice, but we are finding good exit rooms, so it's not like too big of a deal. But yeah. Remember, everything chases Aria, so you do have this problem of like... Yeah, I just dropped the beat there because there's so much coming at me and I don't know what I'm doing. Thankfully, I do have 3 damage now, so I was able to take that Minotaur out in 1 hit. But I'm definitely, probably this is the spookiest thing here, is figuring out what all's going on. So, no potion, no trapdoor for me. And, man, do I wish I had the Shovel of Courage now. Because look at how trolly this layout is. I mean, it's, even with the shovel, would take a while, but... Oh my god, go make some coffee. And of course, I think we're back down to 0 protection, so not... Yeah, I thought that was just going to be like a skeleton, and then it was a mole. Thankfully, it was like on beat to be able to attack it. But thankfully, just a dragon. Not too worried about that. Oh yeah. And now we have the loot. I did have a shield spell. Probably completely forgot about it, or I was saving it for the loot. I guess we'll find out in a second. Yep. Saving it for the loot. Smart. Totally the right call. And there's our 11:59. Thanks for watching.